Hi everyone, welcome to the channel and another Skyrim load order for Xbox Series X and S. Thank you Brian House for the suggestion to create a Game of Thrones mod list around your next player build, Daario Naharis, as your player character. I have some pretty good ideas to share with you and the community here. I'll go over what I have so far and put the load order I've built in the description. If you have more to add for Brian, please drop your advice in the comments and I'll also update the mod list as necessary. Now, as much as I wanted to redo my previous Game of Thrones roleplays, and I did try, but unfortunately the overhaul mods I so depended on to recreate Westeros appear to be broken since the new gen update. So, in an attempt to think out of the box and be creative, I decided to build our guy into Skyrim with some Game of Thrones themes. Oh yeah, I dropped the dragon mod last minute to save space. Though there are only about 89 mods here, there's a little over 400 megabytes remaining. Always try to leave room for personal adjustments, as my mod lists are only suggestions. So here's some footage from the game and then let's go over the load order. I will leave a timestamp if you want to get there and start talking right now.
Now you're keeping us from seeing our honored dead?
Chaos they've sown.
Enough, Maramar. We've all heard of the dragon.
So first off, we have USSEP, as it's required by a couple of mods that we're running in this list: Reconciliation, QOL, and BUGFIXES compilation, the updated version. This includes well over 120, maybe over 130 different small mods, quality of life fixes that aren't included in USSEP, Reconciliation QOL USSEP patch, simple workaround framework required by a couple of mods we're running, Reforging to the masses, almost 300 lore-friendly weapons added into the game, leveled lists, loot chests, some unique that you can find out in the world while you're exploring at a higher level. I thought a few of the weapons here, particularly like the Schmitters for the Khajiit and Redguard, would be most fitting for Daario, as there isn't a weapon specifically like his scythe-like weapon that he uses, but there are some options here for crafting early in the game. I also added more weapons. We'll get to those in a bit. Attack dog replacers, because why not? Visible favorite gear, favorite your gear and see it all on your skeleton at once. Great swords, your regular sword, your daggers, your bow, everything all at once. Sensible horses and travel. Add some unique features for your horse, like calling your horse and naming your horse and stuff. Improved horse animations. Now you can use convenient horses if you want, which is nearly about 50 megabytes. I was using it earlier, but I was also using ZZJ's horse overhaul, which is not compatible with convenient horses. So I am using a different horse retexture now. So you can use whatever horse related mod you want to use, but I still have sensible horses here. Convenient horses I do recommend because it also improves mounted combat as well, and allows any follower that you happen to have also have a horse too, I believe. So NPC clothing and armor overhaul, a really tiny mod that just adjusts what NPCs wear based on where they are in the world, what they do. Race related armors, like Redguards wear Redguard armor and clothing. Some Game of Thrones like main menu and music, because you know it's fitting for our theme. If I'm skipping anything or moving too fast, don't worry, the load order will be in the description. So like HEADHUNTER and these two LAWBRINGER mods for Skyrim and Solstheim, those just some mercenary mods because I just wanted to add that immersion to the game. I try to think of something that was creative for our character, something to break away from the vanilla experience. and kind of, you know, like I said, immerse ourselves in our role play a bit more. Headhunter means you got to collect trophies now from your marks and return them to the quest giver or the Jarl. Lawbringer and Lawbringer for Solstheim lets you take over bandit camps and forts and turn them over to whatever faction you happen to be loyal to. Now, the Redguard Assassin Armor 1K, there's also higher resolution versions. This is what you saw in the very short video showcase of the character. I think like the color scheme and the just the way it looks overall, like very assassin-like and yet very like cultural or like tribal, is fitting for our character. Use whatever armor you want to use in place of it here, but I prefer it, and you don't need the hood as you saw, or the face covering. It's all very modular, so check it out. Stiletto collection lets you craft a stiletto in like every material type that's very powerful and perfect for backstabbing or quick kills, as our character Daario carries a really cool stiletto, and I would definitely dual wield quite a bit with this character, probably more so with the stilettos. So any craftable weapons or armor you want to add to the game, add it here. Start as an assassin just means that you're going to start at level 11 with some points added to specs in areas like light armor, sneaking, archery, one-handed and the such. But because I'm using Ordinator plus Bundle, which gives you 50% more perk points every time you level up, you're not only going to start at a level 11, you're going to have another 15 perk points to add at the start of the game to whatever you want to add them to. And for this particular character, you should be fairly OP for combat anyways. And we're going to dab a little bit in alchemy. So how about some poison arrow crafting and some unique assassin poisons? And winter is coming, because of course winter is coming. So we got these really cool fur cloaks added to the game. Cloaks of Skyrim, general cloaks added to the factions and stuff like that. We need the patches to ensure they're added to level lists, that they're on the NPCs. Cloaks of the Nords just retextures Cloaks of Skyrim in 1K. There's also a higher resolution version. And of course, since we're not bringing Westeros into Skyrim really, we're just bringing our character into Skyrim, I'm kind of just leaning toward making things, I don't know, more Nordic, I guess. We'll just lean toward making things Nordic. So Icy Windhelm, of course, very snowy Windhelm, and all of our beautification mods, our SMIMs, our static mesh improvement mods for our furniture and objects in the world, our landscapes, our preferred green tundras, and our architecture. Thank you, Gamer Polly, for just the architecture. This covers all the architecture for Skyrim and the DLC locations. And thrones expanded because, you know, if you've got some better thrones you want to use, add them here. There's also high resolution versions for all of these thrones for the Jarls, designs of the Nords for new banners. Of course, if we had the overhauls working properly, bringing Westeros to Skyrim, we would have the house banners. Rustic weathers and fogs, darkness falls for darker nights, and incandescent for interior lighting. I went very lightweight, but dark and rustic. If you want to go in a different direction, this is 79 megabytes. 79 mods, I believe. A little over 400 megabytes are remaining. You can do whatever you want with these. Maybe you want to use LFX instead and LFX shadows. Maybe you want to use dawn weathers or vivid weathers or whatever. Azurite, I don't know, obsidian. Use whatever weather mods you want to use. Incandescent looks very much like it looked in the video. Dark, I like dark interiors. This is not as dark as the showcases I've been doing recently, but a very similar lighting template. Magical College of Winterhold is the only interior change I'm making. No JK's interiors this go round. Our blood is There Will Be Blood milkshake, so we get bloody and dirty, and we have soaps in our inventory to clean ourselves. Ras, our shaders in effect to make our armor and our skin frosty where we are cold, and wet when we get out of water or it's raining. Elden movement and stamina combined with Mortal Kombat fast-paced combat is going to make our character much faster, both in and out of combat, much quicker, have higher stamina, faster stamina regeneration as well. just make us more lethal, more agile for our particular roleplay. Wildcat combat of Skyrim is going to make the NPCs more aggressive. It is the combat AI. And like I didn't use the Game of Thrones House of the Dragon dragon overhaul that renames them and retextures and remeshes them. I decided to go in a different direction just to save a mod slot, but you can use whatever you want here. You can retexture whatever creatures you want, add whatever monsters you want right here. I just added one that does quite a bit, which is Civis Ron, Creatures and Wildlife. Not only does it cover dragons and pretty much every animal and monster in the game, it also adds ice titans and giant scorpions, elemental giants, poison drakes, and a number of different unique wildlife creatures into the game. And for our player character and NPC overhauls, we're using Jarl's Complete Character Overhaul Light. Apache Male Hairs has just the perfect hairstyles for the original Daario or the more recent version of Daario. Whichever direction you choose to go in, the hairstyles in this pack. There's 9 different hairstyles there. Bruvram's Vanilla NPC Overhaul improves the faces and replaces the hair of all of the named NPCs in the game to remade versions. And just for some unique character faces for the people I care about the most, like my followers, we're using Tragedian's Fabulous Followers 1K. Of course, we've got fresh looks for the Jarls, Tragedian's Resplendent Royals, and Whimsical Wizards. All of our wizards in the game have a unique look to them, as we did at Magical College anyway. Weather and Worn war paints, some new tattoos for our player character, as well as improved textures for NPCs and beards. So we have big fluffy beards, new beards to choose from, new textures for our player character and NPCs. And for combat, we have gritty animations, Requiem 2.0. I know that has lots of karate kicks in it, and roundhouse kicks and stuff, but you kick when you fight. There's kicks in combat, and there are quite a few move sets with this for its low cost of 6.45 megabytes. And dynamic combat Skyrim animations adds some new move sets as well that are quick and fluid, perfect for our style of fighting, our player character style of fighting. The ultimate dodge mod Reborn, so we can dodge and parry and such quickly. EAD, every attack different, forces us to kind of mix up our attack movements depending on what weapon we are swinging, so we're not just doing the same move over and over again like in vanilla. And smooth up animations in 360 walk run to improve those animations from gritty. Believable weapons reshapes the weapons to a more realistic version of themselves, less fat and cartoony swords, maces and stuff. The armory parts 1 and 2 is what gives us that medieval style armors for all of the factions in the game. And clothing, it doesn't cover DLC though. And for trees, I decided to go with Traverse the Ovenwald. I just like how Traverse the Ovenwald just looks more wild in places where I want it to be more foresty, like around Riverwood and Falkreath. But I also tested this with Trees of Aduna, the main mod, which is 188 megabytes. It works really well. I'm just not a big fan of the snow trees. It has that gap between like the pine needles and the snow, like the snow's not even touching it. I don't like it's immersion breaking for me. But use any tree mod you like. If you want to use Happy Little Trees, or Nature of the Wildlands is another good one. Any tree mod you want right here. Mushrooms and plants for our plants and ingredient improvements in the game. And last but not least, our water mod is going to be Clofa's Water. I showed you what that looks like. It's very royal blue. It's always very royal blue everywhere all the time, but I like the way Clofa's Waters looks. I like the features and I like the performance of it, but you can use any water mod you like. I also love realistic water too. Use whatever you like. Cathedral water, Dawn waters, whatever your favorite water is. That's it. So let me and Brian know what you think about this load order, and if you have any suggestions for what needs to be added on to make it more like Game of Thrones maybe, or make it more for Daario. So I can update the mod list in the description, and anyone who wants to use this load order can use it and have a good time. So thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, I'm out.